During the 2024 awards season, one of the most unexpected cinematic rushes for me came from Brazil with I'm Still Here, a film that not only stunned on the circuit, but quietly cracked open a whole new corner of international cinema for me. Well, Brazil is back in the hunt this year with The Secret Agent, another story born out of the fire and heartache of the country's military dictatorship era. The question is, does it hit with the same emotional force? And how real are this one's Oscar odds this time around? Let's get into it. Welcome back to the garage. Gerald here with you. Of course, we have another movie review for you today with a film that's in the awards discussion. It's The Secret Agent, Brazil's latest swing on the international stage, and a film that dives directly into the fear, uncertainty, and underground resistance movement during the final years of the military dictatorship in the 1970s. I also really enjoyed this one, so let's unpack what works, what holds this one back a little bit from that upper tier emotional punch, and where it stands in this year's awards race. This review will be spoiler free, by the way. The film follows Armando, played by Wagner Moura, a former teacher who finds himself in the crosshairs of a collapsing political system. He's on the run, he's a father trying to protect his son, and he's a man refusing to surrender his identity or his morality while living under a fear-driven authoritarian rule. That's the engine of the story: survival, resistance, and the psychological cost of staying human when humanity is no longer on the menu. From the opening frame, The Secret Agent plants itself firmly in a political noir thriller lane. It's less about spectacle and more about tension, the slow burn, the paranoia, the feel of living one step ahead of a shadow that may or may not already be touching you on your shoulder. Unlike I'm Still Here, which I mentioned earlier, it hit me right in the emotional ribcage. The Secret Agent doesn't fully chase catharsis. Instead, it functions like a procedural unraveling, the kind of movie where each scene tightens the rope even when no one is speaking. One of the most compelling aspects is its methodical storytelling structure. It doesn't rush, it doesn't spoon feed, it builds slowly, like boiling water that you don't even realize is scalding until your hand's already submerged. By the time you reach the final act of this movie, the horror of this regime and what it demanded from its victims becomes fully realized. The ending hits hard, not because of forced melodrama or emotional manipulation, but because of what is implied, what's lost, and what cannot seemingly be repaired. There are a couple of places where I feel like it could have gone deeper. My only real critique in relation to that is the emotional depth or lack thereof. I wanted more before the storm. We get small shards of Armando's life before he's forced into flight, his wife, his family, glimpses of normalcy, but they're mostly fragmentary. Had the film invested a little more time grounding us in what he stood to lose, the heartbreak could have landed with even a heavier force. We're invested in his survival, absolutely, but we're slightly underfed on what survival actually means for him long term. I want to talk a little bit about the craft of the film. It displays an astounding visual identity. It has a gritty, analog, borderline VHS aesthetic that feels lived rather than manufactured. Director Kleber Mendoza Filho shoots it with grain, shadow, and texture in a way that makes it feel like archival footage, almost found, not filmed. When it comes to the sound and the score, there's an intentional restraint with music in several key sequences. There's no score to cushion the viewer, no swell, no cues, just the cold weight of reality. It's a bold choice and it works. In relation to the performances, the ensemble here really sells the realism. No one feels like they're performing. It's grounded, raw, almost like a documentary. Also, real quick, I can't tell you how happy it made me to see longtime German actor Udo Kier show up in this movie. He has been a staple of world cinema, even popping up in American classics like Armageddon and the first Ace Ventura. Yes, that's a classic. But let's be honest, Wagner Moura is the engine, and it's the movie's core energy. Most audiences know him from Narcos, or even more recently in Alex Garland's Civil War last year. But this may be his most complete, nuanced, internalized performance yet. He balances the wounded father with silent rage, never theatrical, never speechifying, and that restraint makes him even more magnetic. When it comes to the film's awards outlook, this is where things get strategic and, yes, perhaps a bit messy at the end of the day. The Secret Agent is very likely a top-tier contender for International Feature. At worst, it's a strong nominee, And Mora could crack Best Actor. I personally have him projected in my top 5 right now. But that lane does look crowded this year, especially if studios get aggressive with category stacking. I do think Mora has an even better chance to win at places like the Golden Globes or even the BAFTAs, given their recent track record with international actors. There's also a chance that the movie shows up in original screenplay or even a stealth Best Picture play if international voters really rally behind it. And as we know, Brazilian cinema is no stranger to crashing that party. But here's the potential hurdle. Neon, who is the distributor here, has several major international contenders this year in the cycle, including Sentimental Value out of Norway, or It Was Just an Accident from Iranian filmmaker Jafar Panahi, which many consider to be a frontrunner. The internal cannibalization is a real danger, especially in a limited real estate award season. But I do have high hopes, and one thing is for sure, I will never count out Brazil. I often say this, but if a movie pushes me to learn, research, and contextualize something I didn't previously really understand, it is a win in my book, period. Between I'm Still Here and now The Secret Agent, I am far more engaged personally with Brazilian history, Brazilian filmmaking voices, and the scars that era left culturally and emotionally. And as an American, there's something chilling and possibly relevant about watching a country wrestle with authoritarianism, truth, suppression, and public fear. The Secret Agent may be a slow burn, but it is purposeful, patient, and anchored by a world-class performance from Wagner Moura, and it should not be ignored. If you're willing to invest, it pays off, not with tears, but with empathy and understanding. The film is a high recommend from me, especially if you are a fan of political dramas. Those were my quick thoughts on the latest Brazilian entry into the awards race, The Secret Agent. Have you seen it or are you planning on seeing it? Let me know your thoughts down below. And do you think it stands a chance to sneak in to top of the line categories like Best Actor or Best Picture, just like its predecessor, I'm Still Here, did? Man, that would be another thrilling moment for me, for sure. I have got all kinds of awards-worthy film reviews coming up. As you can see on the screen here, I'm going to show you all the movies that I'm seeing just this week, not counting The Secret Agent that I just went over. I probably won't be able to do reviews for all of those as I'm seeing them all in like a 4-day time span, but I will at least be getting reviews out for Wicked for Good in the next couple days, as well as hoping to get a review out for Sentimental Value that I will finally be seeing towards the end of the week. Do not forget, channel memberships are open as we get deeper into award season. It takes a lot of time to come up with all the different predictions that I'm going to be doing with the graphics and all the different edits that I have to put together. So anything you want to do to help for even as little as a couple bucks a month goes a long way. I really appreciate the consideration, and a special thank you to all my current members. And at the very least, make sure you subscribe. I will see you guys out here next time in the garage.